Hi guys, kindergarten and first grade at the cottage school. We're just going to review that initial fraction lesson we had. First graders they made a fraction book. They traced all the fraction circles, which we're going to look at here in a minute. Fraction circles, wholes, halves. The only person I think that didn't get to it was David because he was out of town. So I sent the fraction circles with him, and I'm going to show him how to do it. But for right now, let's just review what fractions are. You really know, you work with them all the time. You want your fair piece of the pie, right? So I hope this is that you can read this the correct way. It says fractions. And fractions, as we know, are equal parts. That means it has to be fair. So I'm just going to recall. Do you remember when I had the apple? I had 2 apples and we cut it. One, I just chopped it all up in all different ways and had pieces, but it wasn't fair. Some of you got bigger pieces. Some of you got little tiny small pieces, and nobody was really happy about that because it wasn't equal parts. And then I had another apple and I cut it up, and I first cut it in half, then I cut it in fourths, then I cut it in eighths, and every single kindergartner, first grader got an equal part of the apple. Well, I've got some things ready to cut because I want you to practice, but I just want to review. Fractions come from the English word fraction comes from the Latin word, and that's the language they spoke in ancient Rome, in the country, the Roman culture. The Latin word fractus, which means to break or broken. So when we make fractions, it's like we break something into pieces. We break the whole circle into halves. So the fractions that you're really familiar with, obviously, are wholes, halves. Thirds are a little bit harder, and so we're going to talk about that in a second. But anything can be broken, but not everything is a fraction. I was just going to say that again. Anything can be broken. Like you drop a dish and you break it into pieces. They're not going to be fraction pieces because they're not going to be equal, fair parts. So that's very important to remember, that fractions have to be equal. They have to be fair. Okay. I'm going to put that away for a minute. So now I'm going to trade the video and flip it around, and so let you see what I see. All right, here's our fraction tray from our classroom. And as you can see, we have the one whole. We have the halves. They're not laying in there very well. So we've got 2 equal parts, or 2 halves. We have the thirds, and that's 3 equal parts. 1, 2, 3. We have the fourths, and that's 4 equal parts. Fourths. We also have fifths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they are all equal parts. We've got sixths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they are all equal parts. Then this class set that I have, it doesn't have sevenths, and it jumps to eighths. Let's count them and see if they're 8 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. And then it goes to tenths. Let's check and see if I'm right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, Ezra, Jessa, and Mabel all made a fraction book where they traced all of these and wrote the fractions out like we speak about them. But for the kindergarten, I just want you to practice making some fractions. I want to show you a couple of other things that ways you can make fractions. Let's put these out. This is 1 cup. It's for measuring. Like I have some rice here. I may not end up measuring the rice. I'll let you guys do that. I just wanted to show you. And you probably work with these measurements a lot. But these are measuring cups for the kitchen. Let's see if I can get them out with my left hand. I'm going to take them out with my right hand. I'm a little bit better. So in this case, the 1 whole, I'm going to keep our fraction title card up there. The 1 whole is 1 cup. So that would be like our 1 whole circle. Okay. And this cup, if we filled this cup up, it would fill up the 1 cup measurement. This is half, 1/2 cup. So what could be filled up in here would be half of what this cup could hold. So it would take 2 of these half cups. I'd fill it up and pour it in and fill it up again and pour it in to make 1 whole cup. So it can be compared with our half circles. 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1 whole. But right now it's just a half cup. Okay. Now I have here for you to see a 3rd cup. So that can be compared to our 3rd circles, or circle parts, sorry, our circular fraction pieces, and it takes 3 of them, 3/3, to make 1 whole. Okay, but let's take a look. So my 1/3 cup, I could fill it up and pour it in to the 1 cup. That wouldn't be full. Maybe we'll do this, or maybe I'm just talking to you about it and then you guys do it and give me a Marco Polo. I'd have to fill it again and have 2/3 in there. So I've put in 1/3. I'm putting in another 1/3. And then if I decide to fill it again with rice and pour it into my 1 cup, that would be 3/3. And that is going to equal 1 whole. So fractions don't just work with fraction pieces or cutting things apart, which I'm about to do here in a minute. They also work with our measuring cups or measuring volume. And this is something I'm sure you have at home. And if you've ever cooked with your mom or your dad, you have used them before. And the last one I have is 1/4 cup. How many times do you think I need to fill this? If I filled the 4th cup full, how many of them would it take to make 1 whole cup? How many 1/4 cups would it take to fill the 1 cup? I bet somebody said it. You're right. It would take 4 full 4th cups to make 1 whole. So let's take a look at our 4ths. Hopefully you're still looking at this. Here's our 4ths. So how many 4ths does it take to make 1 whole? 1, 2. Is that a 4th? I mean a whole? Nope, not enough yet, but ooh, what does it make? Does it make something? Yes, it does. Is that a match? Well, we know this is 1/2, so it looks like 2/4 is the same as 1/2. Well, you already knew that, I'm sure. So let's keep going here. So that's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. Okay, so now does that look like it's going to equal 1 whole? Yes, it does. So how many little cups? if I filled this full, would it take to fill up the 1 whole cup? You're right, it would take 4. All right, here's that. Okay, oops, I didn't even leave a 4th. So this just shows that fractions can come in different forms. They can come in flat pieces. They could come in volume measurement or cups. So not only is this a fraction lesson, it's kind of a measurement lesson, which you can do in your kitchen. Hopefully you have different measuring cups that look like this. I actually got this for the cottage school, and now we can't get together anymore for a while, but we'll get back together and you'll be able to use it. All right, I'm going to move these back. I have one other way that we do have in our class that you have been looking at sitting on the shelf, and it's called our fraction skittles. So we have our 1 man. He's our whole man, 1 whole. And so I'm going to put him right here in front of the 1 whole circle and the 1 cup, 1 whole cup. Then we have our half man. See if I can get the rubber band off his neck. Oops, with 1 hand. Blooper, video blooper. Should have had these off before. Sorry. All right, so we have 1/2 plus 1/2 equals, that's right, 1 whole. So we have half a man, like half a cup, and half a fraction skittle. Fraction circle. So he's half a skittle. They're called skittles. I don't exactly know why. Fraction pieces, I guess. And then we have a fraction person or a fraction man that's cut into 3 equal parts. 1, 2, 3. But if we put them all together, they equal, and that's why we have a rubber band. So you can use this at school. They equal 1 whole. But it takes 3 of the thirds family, or the thirds, 3/3, and we call it the families, make 1 whole. Now, does 1/3, is that the same as 1/2? No, they're not equal, are they? Is this 1/3 the same as that 1/2? Oops. No, 1/3 is less, it's smaller. Is this 1/3 the same as this 1/2? No, it's definitely smaller. You can see, it's very easy to see that 1/3 is less than 1/2. Okay, let's move there's our whole man, our whole skittle, our half skittle, and our third skittle, our 3rd man. Okay. Finally, we have our 4th. There he is all together. And I'm going to take his rubber band off his neck, or it could be her neck. And so we have 4 equal pieces of this skittle, or this man, and the 4 equal pieces equal 1 whole. They're equal. So I'm going to move away 3 of them. So we can show fractions, the 1 whole, the 1/2, the 1/3, and the 1/4 in a variety of ways. It doesn't just have to be flat circles. It doesn't have to just be a cup measurement. And it doesn't just have to be a skittle or it can be just about anything. So I'm about to clear these things away and we're going to do some cutting. Actually, I'm not even going to clear them away. I'm just going to move over here. Hopefully this works. No, I've got to put my hands down. All right, enough on this for right now. I'll be back shortly.